Hello students. So last class I discussed about maximum likelihood and the least squared error hypothesis. So in that I was discussing about two basic concepts from the probability theory. One is probability densities and second one is normal distributions. Hope last class I already discussed about the first concept, that is probability densities in detail, and also I illustrated the probability density function, that is P of x naught. So in today's class I'm going to discuss the second concept, that is normal probability distribution. So as we stated that the random noise variable, that is small e, which is generated by a normal probability distribution. So this we know already. If you look into the random noise variable, that is E, so that random noise variable is generated by a normal probability distribution. Here a normal distribution is a smooth bell-shaped distribution that can be completely characterized by its mean, that is mu, and its standard deviation rho, or pi you can say. So here you can see the normal distribution with mean and standard deviation. So normal distribution is a smooth bell-shaped distribution that can be completely characterized by its mean mu and its standard deviation rho, or you can also call it as pi. So this is what one sample illustration that I have given, that is a normal distribution with mean 0 and standard deviation 1. So p of x equal to 1 divided by root 2 pi sigma square into e raised to minus 1 by 2 x minus mu divided by sigma bracket square, right? Here normal distribution is fully determined by two parameters in the formula. One is mu and one more is sigma. So if the random variable capital X, it follows a normal distribution, then the probability that X will fall into the interval a comma b, so it is represented as uh, integration of uh, p of x dx a to b. So the expected or the mean value of capital X is e of x equal to mu, and the variance of capital X, that is var of x, is equal to sigma square. The standard deviation of x, that is sigma x, is equal to sigma. Here the central limit theorem states that the sum of a large number of independent identically distributed random variables that follows a distribution that is approximately normal. Alright. So given this background, we now return to the main issue, that is showing that the least squared error hypothesis, in fact the maximum likelihood hypothesis within our problem setting. So we'll solve this by deriving the maximum likelihood hypothesis starting with our earlier equation, right? But using the lowercase small p to refer to the probability density. So a small p indicates the probability density. So by using previous definition of HML, we have HML equal to argmax P of D bar H, the smallest belongs to capital H. So as before, we assume that a fixed set of training instances, that is x1 x2 up to xm, and therefore consider the data D to be corresponding sequence of the target values capital D, which is equal to small d1 d2 d3 up to dm. Here di is equal to f of xi plus ei. So assuming that the training examples are mutually independent given small h, so we can write p of d bar h as the product of various di bar h, that is HML equal to argmax pi p of di bar h, where I equal to 1 to m and small h belongs to capital H. So like this we can write uh, p of d bar h as a product of various di bar h, right? So given that the noise ei, which will obey a normal distribution with zero mean and unknown variance sigma square, where each di must also obey a normal distribution with the variance sigma square, which is centered around the true target value f of xi rather than 0. Therefore, p of di bar h can also be written as the normal distribution with the variance sigma square and the mean mu equal to f of xi. Mean mu equal to f of xi, which is also equal to h of xi. So this is what the overall HML equation. So I'm going to write it again in the next slide. So let us write the formula for this normal distribution to describe P of di bar h, beginning with the general formula for a normal distribution and substituting the appropriate mu and sigma square, because we are writing the expression for the probability of di given that h is the correct description of the target function f, and we'll also substitute mu equal to f of xi, which is equal to h of xi as per in the previous slide. So which will yield hml is equal to arc pi 1 by square root of 2 pi sigma square into e raised to minus 1 by 2 sigma square into di minus mu square, where I equal to 1 to m and small h belongs to capital H, which is further simplified as argmax argmax pi 1 by square root of 2 pi sigma square into e raised to minus 1 by 2 sigma square into di minus h of xi whole square. Here we are substituting the value of mu as h of xi, right? So where I equal to 1 to m and small h belongs to capital H. We now apply a transformation which is common in the maximum likelihood calculations. So rather than maximizing the above complicated expression, we shall choose to maximize its logarithm, so which is a bit less complicated here. So this is justified because in here p is a monotonic function of p, that is ln p, ln of p. If you take ln p, so that is a monotonic function of p. Therefore maximizing in ln p, it also maximizes p. Here we are considering one more term, that is ln p. So ln p you can consider. So ln p is a monotonic function of p, so maximizing ln p, which will also maximize p. Now I am further simplifying it as argmax summation of ln of 1 divided by root 2 pi sigma square minus 1 divided by 2 sigma square into di minus h of xi bracket square, where I equal to 1 to m, uh, small h belongs to the capital H. Here the first term in this expression is a constant which is independent of h and can therefore discarded. It can be discarded here. So which in turn yield HML is equal to argmax summation minus 1 divided by 2 sigma square into di minus h of xi whole square. I go to 1 to m, small h belongs to capital H. So this term we are neglecting here, or we are discarding, because this term is a constant which is independent of h. That's why we are discarding here, and this is what the expression after simplification. Now maximizing this negative quantity is equivalent to minimizing the corresponding positive quantity, obviously. So HML is equal to arg min. So max in turn it is simplified to min. So HML equal to arg min summation 1 divided by 2 sigma square di minus hi bracket square I equal to 1 tm, smallest belongs to capital H. So this we are interchanging here. Here it is max and minus. So in place of this we are rewriting it as min plus, because maximizing the negative quantity is equivalent to minimizing the corresponding positive quantity. That's why we are interchanging these two. So we got HML equation as arg min summation 1 divided by 2 sigma square into di minus h of xi whole square I equal to 1 to m, the smallest belongs to capital H. So finally we can again discard the constant which are independent of small h, that is HML equal to arg min summation of di minus h of xi whole square I equal to 1 to m, smallest belongs to capital H. So this term also we are neglecting because it is also independent of h. It does not containing the term h which is independent of h. So this is also we are neglecting or discarding. So you got HML equation as arg min summation di minus h of xi whole square I equal to 1 to m, small h belongs to capital H. Here the HML is the one that minimizes the sum of squared errors. That is what our conclusion is, right? So I'll repeat. So this particular equation, so this equation shows that maximizing likelihood hypothesis, that is HML, is the one which will minimize the sum of squared errors between the observed training values di and the hypothesis predictions h of xi. So this holds under the assumptions that the observed training values di are generated by adding the random noise to the true target value, where this random noise is drawn independently for each example from a normal distribution with zero mean. As the above derivation, it makes sure that the squared error term, that is the di minus h of xi whole square. So this follows directly from the exponent in the definition of normal distribution. So similar derivations can be performed starting with the other assumed noise distributions which will produce the different results. So we can notice that the structure of this above derivation involves selecting the hypothesis that maximizes the logarithm of the likelihood, that is ln p of d bar h. So in order to determine the most probable hypothesis, as we have as it is noted earlier, this yield the same result as maximizing the likelihood, that is the p of d bar h. So this approach of working with log likelihood is common to many Bayesian analysis because it is often more mathematically tractable than working directly with the likelihood. Of course, as it is noted earlier, the maximum likelihood hypothesis might not be the MAP hypothesis or MAP hypothesis, but if one assumes the uniform prior probabilities over the hypothesis, then that is. Here one question is, why is it reasonable to choose the normal distribution to characterize the noise? So there are some justification for this question. So one reason is that it must be admitted is that it allows for a mathematically straightforward analysis, and the second reason is that smooth bell-shaped distribution is a good approximation to many types of noise in the physical systems. So these are what the reasons to justify why is it reasonable to choose a normal distribution to characterize noise. So this is what the today discussion. In the next class, I am going to discuss maximum likelihood hypothesis for predicting probabilities. Thank you.